Successful. Air temperature 321 degrees Kelvin. Humidity at maximum. Visibility very low.
Wait, Mr. Rigz. Stop. Look over there. I've never seen anything like this. That tree is enormous. We have to go see it up close. It's breathtaking.
I concur, Ashley. It appears to be even larger than the cloud drifters on Cephalus.
Yes, it definitely looks bigger. Let's go. We have to see it up close.
Technology has
It's even more impressive when we're standing close to it, but I can't really make out the structure of this great tree. It's partially covered with the same growth that we've seen come out of that flying spore that reached our HQ. The trunk appears to be intertwined in thick, thorny vines. And I see hundreds of creatures crawling amongst its branches. It looks very old and dried out. Let's go around the base of the tree. I want to learn more about it. This side of the tree is densely covered with parasite nests. The entire trunk is crawling with them. It looks like they've overwhelmed this organism and they're draining all of its life. This side of the tree doesn't look so dried out. It has visible living tissue. I can even see some resin-like substance coming out from the crevices in the trunk.
Warning! Hostile creatures are swarming down on us from the tree. Ashley, prepare to fight!
The trunk of the tree is densely entangled with some sort of aggressive thorn vine. It almost looks like it's trying to strangle this giant organism.
Warning! I am detecting a lot of movement coming down from the tree. Ashley, get ready to fight!
Okay, Mr. Rigz. I think we should set up a research outpost at the base of this tree and learn more about the situation in this biome. I think this giant organism is the key to our riddle.
What riddle?
The pollen cloud and the gigantic flying spores trying to invade our headquarters? That's why we came here.
I am sorry, Ashley. I still have not classified those events as a threat to our mission. All of this looks like a natural part of this planet's ecosystem.
I hope you're right. Either way, I don't want to take that risk. Okay, we've got an outpost building up and running. Now we can move on to constructing the necessary research infrastructure around the tree and start gathering data about this organism.
It is going to be challenging to defend our base in the swamp. There is very little building space available, and we will not be able to rely on wind and solar energy. We should focus on more efficient energy sources, like flammable gas, nuclear, or fusion power.
We can use biocondensers to gather sludge from the mud pools all around us and convert that into flammable gas. Energy shouldn't be a problem. We just need to think different.
Extended pipelines will be difficult to defend.
That is true, but we can secure them with floating immolator towers. Plus, pipelines are cheap to rebuild. A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are research completed. Available for crafting. New buildings are available for construction. Attack is imminent. We should build stronger defenses around our base.
Base is under attack.
Ashley, I'm detecting a lot of movement in the upper parts of the Great Tree. We should prepare to defend our base from the tree's direction.
Roger that, Mr. Rigz. Let's place some defensive towers within our base just in case.
and new technology has been developed. New buildings are available for construction. Warning! Hostile creatures are coming down the tree! Danger! A large group of creatures is coming down from the tree. Base is under attack. Research lab in Sector A has finished gathering data.
Base is under attack.
research lab in Sector B has finished gathering data.
A new technology has been developed. New blueprints are available for crafting.
Research lab in Sector C has finished gathering data. Ashley, all of the research stations have finished their quantum scans of the Great Tree structure. You can proceed with the analysis.
Interesting. This organism has a very complex, multi-layered structure that goes deep underground. The part that's visible above ground is primarily responsible for reproduction, which is very similar to Earth-based mushrooms.
So, what is the interesting part?
The fruit body, which we've dubbed the mushroom tree, is close to 100 meters tall. If the underground body of this fungus holds proportions similar to Earth-based fungus, this entire organism could span hundreds of kilometers. Who knows, maybe it's underlying all of the swamp.
That is a bold theory, but even if it is true, it still does not mean that this fungus is a threat to our mission on Galatea 37.
Wait, there's more. The pollen cloud that reached our base was emitted by this huge fungal species, but the larger spores that were spreading the infectious growth came from a different species. Our data shows that the invasive spores share DNA with the parasites that are crawling all over this tree.
That sounds like a typical parasitic relationship, which is quite common in nature.
Maybe, but not on this scale. These parasites have almost completely taken over this great mushroom tree. That huge spore cloud was just a manifestation of the problems to come. Imagine what could happen if a few hundred square kilometers big organisms started to multiply in an uncontrolled manner. I think that this ecosystem is on the verge of collapsing and that we should try to bring it back to balance.
I am still not convinced, Ashley, but you are the boss here. What would you like to do next?
First, we should stop these parasites from multiplying any further. I don't want to use brute force against them. That could damage the organism and wouldn't be very effective. Maybe we could try to find some natural repellent that could drive them away from this tree.
I have cross-checked this parasite species' chemical spectrum against planetary quantum scans of the fungal swamp. This species appears to be commonly present in smaller populations throughout the entire biome. However, there are a few areas that are free of it.
Good thinking, Mr. Rigz. We have to check what is so repulsive in these places.
I concur, Ashley. I have marked one of these areas on the planetary scanner interface. We can go there as soon as you're ready.
Base is under attack.
Ashley, I'm detecting a sudden change in air humidity and wind speed. A fog is forming up. Research completed. Jump successful. Oh my, Ashley. The atmosphere is intense in this area.
What? What do you mean?
The smell. It's overwhelming my sensors. You are so lucky to be inside of me.
What? What does it smell like?
It smells like freshly baked cinnamon buns with garlic and vinegar sauce, but much more intense than you could ever expect.
Oh, that doesn't sound so bad. At least we know what those parasites are afraid of. Let's try to find what's secreting the smell.
Interesting. Let's move closer to it.
Is that smell coming from this plant?
It does have an intense odor that is similar to what I described earlier, but it is much less intense.
Maybe it isn't ripe yet.
That is possible. Or maybe it needs to be fermented.
Yeah, that would make sense too. I think we're getting closer. Let's keep searching. We can call this plant garlemonium from the scent.
Brilliant name, Ashley. No wonder you're a scientist.
I love working with you, Mr. Rigz. Please, never change. Wow, look at that curiosity. It's got huge dangling eyes at the front, a lot of smaller eyes on all sides, and a huge gaping mouth at the bottom. This is probably the strangest creature that we've seen on this planet, or maybe even anywhere.
Indeed, Ashley. It is really difficult to say how all of its appendages fit in this ecosystem. It does not appear to be aggressive. I think I have it, Ashley. I know where that smell is coming from. I've marked the location on your map.
This is a very peculiar creature. It's an herbivore with a very fast metabolism and particularly strong digestive acids. It's completely harmless to us, but I'd love to gather more information about it. Oh, it looks like a colorful heap of toothpaste. Wait, is this what I think it is?
You do not want to brush your teeth with that, Ashley. It is a steaming pile of feces.
It totally makes sense, yet somehow I wasn't expecting this. Well, we have to take a sample. Bring out the drill arm, Mr. Rigz.
Of course, Ashley. I am not complaining. Whatever you...
Thank you, Mr. Rigz. This substance has an unbelievably intense odor. No wonder the parasites hate it. But we'll need to gather more of it if we want to get rid of them from the entire tree.
Brilliant. I really feel like I was made for this job.
Stop complaining, Mr. Rigz. Nobody said we'd only be sniffing flowers. This excrement must have been produced by a large creature like the one with those dangling eyes that we met earlier.
I really like how you use the word product in this particular instance.
I was trying to avoid saying poo too much, but if you insist, you can call this creature a poogrit. Okay, how can we get more of this product?
Ashley, we can grab one of those garlemonium fruits with the gravity modulator and toss it to a poogret. It should try to eat it if it's close enough. A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are available for crafting. I can hear distant thunder. The wind is also picking up. A storm is coming. Okay, the poogrit noticed the garlemonium fruit.
The storm is very violent, but our base is safe from the wind. Wind turbine output is at maximum levels. Research completed.
gross. Wow, that was some rapid digestion. Bring out your drilling arm, Mr. Rigz. We've got science to do. Okay, I think we need to collect a few more piles of the product, and we should be good. The storm is over.
Crafting completed.
This is it. I think we've got enough of the product to spray the entire mushroom tree. We can rift back to the fungal swamp outpost as soon as we're ready.
Wait a moment, Ashley. I think we missed something that you may consider interesting.
What is it?
My sensors are picking up an unusual energy emission in the middle of a flooded area. The energy signature is similar to the bioanomalies that we have been encountering from time to time. But this one appears to be larger, and they previously only appeared on dry land.
Yeah, that certainly sounds like something that is worth investigating. Let's go there. It's hard to see anything in this fog. A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are available for crafting. Picking up a strong energy emission nearby.
I see light coming from behind those rocks. Let's check that out.
It is a large bioanomaly, Ashley. Just as expected.
Wait. This is an obvious trap, Mr. Rigz. This place looks strange and deserted, and there's a huge treasure cache glowing red right in the middle. It's as obvious as it gets.
Well, do you not want to open it?
Duh, of course I do. Let's just get prepared before we do that. Somehow I feel that we might get surprised, even though we expect to be surprised.
Human logic. Enemies coming in from all around us. The fog is gone. Base efficiency is back to normal.
Mudroners in that attack, including some very large ones. That was unusual.
This species appears to have higher intelligence than most creatures that we have encountered on this planet. Maybe they have intentionally prepared this trap.
I don't think so. They're not that smart, and I doubt they would have been aware that we were coming here. I think this bioanomaly must have served some special purpose to them. Maybe they were worshipping it. Or maybe they were drawn to its energy.
We have seen similar bioanomalies in all parts of Galatea 37, but we still do not know what they really are. The things that they all share in common are that they appear to be much older than their surroundings, and that any attempt at opening them creates strong energy emissions that aggravate all creatures within a large distance.
Isn't this universal functionality strange? It would seem that these bioanomalies have the ability to control wildlife, and that they are using them as a protective mechanism.
A primordial organism that can control any sophisticated wildlife and appears in all parts of the globe? Sounds like a wild conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I agree that it's a far-fetched idea. Maybe someday we'll get to understand what's really behind this.
A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are available for crafting.
Research completed. Crafting completed.
It's hard to see anything in this fog.
We are back at the fungal swamp outpost, Ashley. We can move forward with your plan.
Okay, Mr. Rigz, let's get rid of these parasites from the tree. We need to spray the entire trunk with fermented garlemonium extract, and we obviously won't be able to do this ourselves. We need to build repellent drone hubs around the tree to cover the entire organism.
That is a special building blueprint, Ashley. I will enable it only when we are within the construction zones. Also, remember that you will need to supply these buildings with clean water to operate.
Roger that, Mr. Rigz. We can easily filter water from the mud.
A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are available for crafting.
Repellent drone hub in Zone A is online and operational. Fermented garlemonium extract distribution is commencing.
The fog is clearing up.
Mission area expanded. Please check your map. I'm detecting a large group of creatures heading towards our position. Base is under attack.
Creatures were huge! Wow!
I agree, Ashley. They were covered by thick layers of fungal growth that absorbed most of our firepower.
They could pose a serious threat to our fortifications. Do we have enough data to determine which types of weapons would be most effective against these fungors?
No, not yet. We have to gather more data samples from these creatures. In the meantime, we have a bigger problem to solve. The group of fungors that came to attack us originated from a large island to the west of our position. I am detecting a lot of movement in that area.
They must have a nest or lair of some sort over there. Let's investigate that.
Repellent drone hub in Zone C is online and operational. Fermented gallimonium extract distribution is commencing. Repellent drone hub in Zone B is online and operational. Fermented gallimonium extract distribution is commencing. Warning! A new group of hostile creatures is coming from a nearby nest. Zone C has reached full parasite repellent saturation level. Fungals are hatching around those large mounds. We have to destroy them to stop their attacks.
Be careful, Mr. Rigz. This island is a fortress.
Zone B has reached full parasite repellent saturation level. Destroyed all of the spawning mounds, Ashley. This will prevent further fungal attacks from this area.
That's one less thing to worry about. It feels like everything in this swamp is trying to kill us. Deadly walking mushrooms, plants spitting acid, plants bashing us with huge tendrils, and even plants that lob artillery-like projectiles at us. I don't think we're welcome around these parts.
If it is some consolation, Ashley, we can create a new gas grenade design based on the projectiles that those plants threw at us. It will not be of much use in this biome, but could be very useful against other types of creatures.
Ooh, that's nice. I'll try throwing it back at those plants, just to make them feel silly.
Whatever makes you feel better, Ashley. I'm detecting a large group of creatures heading towards our position.
New blueprints are available for crafting.
Zone A has reached full parasite repellent saturation level. The entire mushroom tree is covered in gallimonium extract. The parasites are fleeing. We should go to the base of the tree to see this.
This is amazing! The gallimonium extract worked even better than I expected. The parasite nests are dying, and the great mushroom tree is starting to bloom in some places. This is such a warm feeling.
Okay, Ashley. The first stage of your plan to save this fungus is complete. What do you want us to do next?
Now that the parasites are gone, I can see how much this organism is being strangled by that aggressive thorn vine. Let's go to the east side of the tree to take another look at the situation. I think it's the worst over there. A new technology has been developed.
New blueprints are available for crafting. Danger! Hostile creatures are approaching our base. Get ready for battle.
Take a look at these thorn vines, Mr. Rigz. The ones that are on the ground near the base of the tree look natural, but the ones that are strangling the tree look different. They're much thicker and darker. They don't fit here.
I concur, Ashley. These thicker vines look like a mutated version of the natural green ones. Their thorns are piercing the trunk of the great mushroom tree. It looks like they are feeding on this organism.
Let's call them dark thorn to make a clear distinction from the natural thorn vine.
The damage to the tree appears to be deep, substantial, almost intentional.
What if the parasites that we just removed were not the real problem? Maybe they attacked this organism because it was already weakened by the dark thorn.
Some of these dark thorn tendrils span away from the tree. I am picking up a dense energy flux within them.
It's the resin, Mr. Rigz. The dark thorn is pumping out resin from this fungus and it's transporting it somewhere. This is the real root of the problem. We have to destroy these tendrils.
Wait. I can try to track that energy flux, and maybe we could check where that resin is heading out. Given this substance's energy capacity potential, we should not ignore that.
Smart thinking, Mr. Rigz. It's great to have you on board with this.
Energy flux mapping in progress. It is a complex branching structure, heading out in a few directions. I am detecting a larger energy condensation within a very dense part of the swamp. I am marking that location as a high-value point of interest for further investigation.
Excellent. We should go there as soon as possible. Great job, Mr. Rigz.
Wait a moment. I have picked up a small source of fungal resin very close to the fungor lair that we have just cleared out. It is not that big, but might be worth investigating.
Interesting. We should definitely check it out.
Research completed. Crafting completed.
Over there, Mr. Rigz. It looks like a smaller version of the great mushroom tree. Let's go see it up close. Isn't that another fungal fruit body from the same giant organism?
That is correct, Ashley. Both of these mushrooms are connected underground.
This smaller one looks much healthier. I can see fungal resin dripping from it. It's beautiful.
This substance is an incredibly potent energy carrier. We could easily break it down and use it as a substitute for plasma.
What? Are you serious?
Yes. We can use it directly to power shield generators, or we could run it through a plasma converter to produce supercharged plasma to fuel heavy artillery batteries.
But how?
On the quantum molecular level, this fungal resin acts as a containment field for singular antimatter particles. The containment fluid disperses when it comes into contact with certain fungal enzymes, which causes the antimatter to react with regular matter and produce energy. The amount of antimatter that is contained in this resin is incredibly small, but it's enough to fuel the metabolic processes of this fungus. It is practically liquid energy.
That sounds amazing. We can use whatever is dripping out of this resin tree, but let's not overdo it. It's the lifeblood of this organism. We could kill it if we start extracting this substance on an industrial scale. The rock rain is over. That was intense.
Jump error. These are not the coordinates that we were aiming for. Something interfered with the jump.
How far are we from the destination?
A few kilometers. We landed in a very dense thicket. Our target is directly to the east of our current position, on a small hill.
Okay, we can get there on foot. Let's go.
Danger! It's a trap! I am detecting a lot of movement.
The vegetation in this part of the swamp is extremely dense. The jungle around our HQ seems like a forest nursery compared to this.
Based on my previous scans, we are probably walking a...
I didn't expect that. These creatures were camouflaged as trees. We have to be extremely careful around here. The flora and fauna in this biome are extremely dangerous. I didn't expect that. Mr. Rigz, are you sure that we're walking toward a small hill? We're on a rather steep incline and we didn't start our journey at sea level. I've just seen glimpses of the fungal swamp river delta in the distance below us.
I may have used imprecise terminology, Ashley. This is a small hill in relation to the broader Galatean landscape. However, when we look at the so-called fungal swamp area, it is the highest peak within its geographical borders.
Sounds like you were just improvising in the beginning, and now you're trying to be a smartass.
I am only trying to be more human, Ashley.
You're such a fast learner.
Ashley, I'm detecting a sudden change in air humidity and wind speed. A fog is forming up.
How far are we from the destination?
We are about 2/3 of the way toward our initial rift jump coordinates.
Okay, that's good. I hope the vegetation is less dense where we're headed.
That is rather unlikely, Ashley.
I know, but you can't blame me for having some hope.
I can. That is simply bad logic.
They should have programmed you with some empathy.
My creators did not have empathy, so they could not program it.
Somehow, that makes a lot of sense. I think we're near the top of this mountain. Is that smoke coming from beyond the edge? Is this a volcano?
That would make sense, Ashley, but I do not understand why the planetary scanner did not report that.
That might explain why our rift jump failed in the beginning. I just hope you didn't mistake the fungal resin energy flux for some lava flows.
That is highly unlikely. Volcanic activity would mostly produce thermal radiation. The planetary scanner picked up regular bursts of gamma rays with the same oscillation pattern as from the fungal resin's matter versus antimatter energy metabolism process.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
The fog is clearing up. This will make things easier for us.
Research completed.
Is this the place that you marked?
Affirmative. My scans indicate that there is a large energy condensation within the area behind these rocks.
Okay, I can see a crevice that we can fit through. Let's see what is hiding on the other side.